We would like to thank our sponsors, Getaway Today. Use Getaway Today for all of your vacation planning needs. You'll get exclusive perks, great discounts, and the best customer service. Most importantly, their services are always free and easy, from experienced and passionate agents who love to make your vacation dreams come true. Head on over to getawaytoday.com from the link in our show notes to see their exclusive deals, and you can call 855-GET-AWAY and let them know Walt's Apartment sent you to start planning your next vacation today.
There was an idea. The idea was to bring together a group of remarkable people, see if they could become something more.
I have an army.
We have a Hulk.
This is the Marvel Tribe, brought to you by Walt's Apartment Podcast and the DisInsider.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Marvel Tribe. We're a group of excited and passionate individuals who have come together to share our love of all things Marvel. We are brought to you by Walt's Apartment Podcast and DisInsider.com. My name is Shawn, and I'm joined by an amazing group of Marvel nerds. From the big screen to the small print, feel the pulse in your chest so you know you're alive. One team, one love. It's the Mother's Day edition of the Marvel Tribe.
Marvel Tribe.
Marvel Tribe. How we doing tonight? Welcome to the Marvel Tribe. I am Shawn. And I'm joined by David. I'm joined by David and Chris so far. Sam is on her way from her Mother's Day dinner. So, Chris, how you doing tonight, my friend?
Very, very well. I'm excited that I missed it last week. We took the week, and I guess it's always like something that you don't miss it until you don't have it anymore. And I missed it, so I'm looking forward for this evening.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. David, how you doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Had a great Mother's Day, but I helped contribute towards a great Mother's Day and stuff.
Good.
So I feel great about that. And so happy Mother's Day to all you Marvel fans out there. And
absolutely.
And like Chris said, I missed last week. We just have those weeks we may not be able to get the opportunity to do so, but consistency is the key. We know a lot of you fans love this, and so we're going to do our parts to make sure we can deliver some really entertaining stuff to you guys every week. So
absolutely. And to touch on that, I agree with Chris, the same thing. I have plans. I have my plan on Sunday. I do all my stuff in the morning. We have family Sunday dinner. I have to leave family Sunday dinner to come home to do the Marvel Tribe, which I absolutely love doing, which gets me out of that too, which is great. So, and last week I got home and we just sat down and we started watching all the Marvel movies. And me and my wife just started going through all the movies, and we can talk about that too, because I know so much more than I knew before we had our 1 week hiatus. Nice. I'm so excited about everything I actually know and understand now, which is absolutely great. But like you both said, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. To our moms that are part of the Walt's Apartment Podcast, Amber and Samantha, happy Mother's Day. Hope you guys had a great day. I know Amber is, I think she's in the Grand Canyon right now, right? Yeah, she's on her trek. So I know she's having a great time. Sam will be joining us soon. But I just thought this week we talk about what's coming up. There's a lot of announcements this week. Disney made one of the smartest moves I've seen for a while in releasing that video, that 3-minute video that they released on May 4th, which I thought was the smartest thing they could have done. They, everyone's so excited. May 4th, Star Wars, blah, 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 which don't get me wrong. We love Star Wars. But when David put that video in our group chat on Tuesday morning, I said, holy crap, this is great. And how freaking smart was this to have Stan Lee talking about the movies and just how, and talk about this is your brother and this is your sister. And it just pulled at you. And then they said, we're going back to movies, and they went through all the movies coming back out. So before we get into them, quick question for you guys. Chris, who's the hottest Marvel mom out there?
The hottest mom.
That's part of Marvel. It's a no-brainer.
And I can't really come up with moms. I mean, I right away my head goes to family, and I think of all the parents that have been tragically taken away. And that's usually in a lot of story arcs, down to Spider-Man. And, you got Uncle Ben and his aunt and all of that. So I don't really know who the mom would be, because I don't follow that. I guess that next generation. I mean, I'm stuck on it.
Does this help? Does this help at all?
No, that doesn't help at all.
No, it does help. No. David, who's the hottest Marvel mom out there?
So I'm gonna go with Frigga. So most of you know that's Thor's mom. We're played by the great, notorious Renee Russo. So yeah, that's she's in, and she's also a witch. So, or she was raised by witches. So just like
that was Renee Russo.
Yeah,
that's
Renee. She's Russo. Hot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and she's raised by a witch, and she had real, not imaginary kids. So.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, who do you think, Shawn?
Yeah,
Who do you think I think? We know it's Wanda. Wanda is the hottest Marvel mom out there for the small amount of time that she was a mom. Here, I'll preface it with that. How's that sound? She's only.
There's I hate to do this, but I have to because you brought this up and stuff.
Please.
So there's this clip that's going around on TikTok about it's some reality show like Real Housewives and stuff like that, House of Love, whatever. And this lady was talking about how she went through an experience and she lost her twins and stuff, and then some other snarky lady is like, "Oh, dang, double homicide and stuff." It was horrible. It was funny, but it was a horrible joke. It is going throughout the Twitterverse and everything else and stuff. And all I can think of, somebody actually created the meme, the same thing with Wanda when she lost her kids. They're like, dang, double homicide. So it's she's not a mom anymore. But this we shouldn't be doing this on Mother's Day. So,
but
but they're not her children.
They're not.
These are spawned from Mephisto.
All right.
So it's not
AKA spawns of Satan.
Yes. So those are the children that makes her the hottest mom for you, Shawn.
All right, fine. Renee Russo wins by default.
It's funny though. I mean, really, if I just going through the Marvel Universe comics and everything, and to think of a mom.
I asked you guys earlier, no one answered me back. I'm like, maybe there are none, because I think maybe there.
There is.
Yeah,
there are, but nobody. Well, you said hot though.
Okay. How about the best mom? How's that? I mean, we can.
Do we call Peter Parker's aunt? I mean, she's kind of like his mom, so
yeah, that's a mom.
It's in the title. It's Aunt May.
Yeah, Aunt May. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
but no, there's Pepper Potts. She's
she's a mom. There you go.
Yeah, Pepper Potts.
And she's a real mom. So
she's a real mom and stuff. There's some real moms in the MCU and stuff.
Honestly, when I thought about it earlier, it was just, and I had Pepper in my head earlier. Pepper and Wanda were the only two I could actually think of, and I didn't even think about. I just watched Thor, so I mean that was yeah. But all right.
Well, I mean, Bucky kind of knows. Tony Stark's parents pretty well.
Oh, damn.
And that would be a double homicide.
That's a double homicide.
Yes, indeed. Oh, man.
You guys got the picture I sent you today, right? It was a picture of Bucky saying, hey.
Absolutely.
It's,
okay. So Bill is not with us tonight either. He is handling. I think he's doing some Mother's Day stuff as well. So Bill, we'll hope to see you back as soon as we get you back in here. Some exciting announcements this week. We're going to talk about the movies in a second, but Loki will now be not on Fridays but on Wednesdays.
Yes.
Which I when he said Wednesday is the new Friday, I was so giddy that I ran a podcast that records on Wednesday nights. I was so excited to know that. But yeah.
No, I love it. And it's fitting with Loki anyway. The show and everything else. The trickster god. I mean, Loki gets his way, and this was kind of a nice little ode to that, to bump up the schedule. For one of the biggest anticipated shows and stuff to come out on Wednesdays versus Fridays and stuff. So I'm excited. I think all the fans were excited when we saw it, and I love the fact that Huddleston, he's the one who dropped the bomb on us and stuff. So that was
he's like, hey, Tom here. He just my wife is infatuated with Loki since we've been watching all the movies. She absolutely loves him. She thinks he's the best, and like I said, you guys, when I told you guys when we went on break, but when we stopped watching Falcon and Winter Soldier, I said, I'm going to watch all these movies. Mm-hmm. I figured I'd watch one or so a week. I think we're up to Ant-Man right now. We've watched so many movies in the past week. So it's been just, I know who Zola is. Nice. Finally, you guys talked about Zola like 6 weeks ago. I'm like, who the hell is Zola? I'm just like, yeah. I know. Yeah. And being a computer, coolest thing ever. Thor, Jane Foster, seeing Darcy before in both the movies. Everyone said don't watch Thor Dark World, but I watched it. I thought it was really good, actually. I thought it was my kids all said it wasn't good. I thought it was pretty good. So, my wife was not a big fan of Captain Marvel, but
no. Okay.
Yeah. Iron Man, I think I messaged you guys when I was watching that, because when he's stuck in the cave, they mentioned the 10 rings. I said, wait a minute, is that Shang-Chi? Yes. And that's part of the Mandalorian, not the Mandalorian, but the Mandarin. What's his name? The Mandarin. Which I've seen that movie before, but it's still good to watch it again. That guy's hilarious. The Mandarin being the little Trevor. Yeah, so I have been watching the movies. I have loved them, and I feel like when everything is back and we're talking about everything, I will know a little bit more. Ant-Man, I have no idea, not one thing about Ant-Man, about how any of those things go or whatever. But hi, Sam.
Hi, guys. Sorry, I'm
late.
Oh, you're fine.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to you. We've been just talking about my movie watching of all the Marvel shows. So
yes. Where are you at?
We're going to start Ant-Man tonight. We just finished Iron Man 3. Wait, no. We finished Winter Soldier last night, which Chris Brown always said that was his favorite. That was a really, really good movie. Of what I've watched so far, I have seen like Endgame and stuff, which I think is better. But of what I've watched to this point, I will say that movie was really, really good action. You learned a lot in that one about Hydra and the Shield and this and that. And we watched Ultron last night. That was what we ended with, was Age of Ultron, and I learned that Wanda really is a bad bitch. The way she messed with all their heads, and she messed up poor Nat, and I'm like, damn, yeah.
Gave them nightmare visions and stuff, and
just crazy. She's insane.
Did you use the word visions as intentionally?
Can't put nothing past her. Yes,
but yeah. So we were just go ahead, David. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you got introduced to Darcy, which is great. Now you're gonna get introduced to Jimmy Woo when you watch it.
Yeah.
So
and it was cool to see Darcy. Besides all I know of her so far, it was cool to see Darcy. She's funny as hell. She's great. Yeah. I know who Jane is, and I know Jane will be supposedly in Love and Thunder. Correct? She's going to be part of that, and she's going to actually have his powers, from what I've heard.
Thor. She is Thor. Yes.
She is Thor. Yes.
Yeah.
One thing about Age of Ultron, then we'll get on to the movies. I thought it was so cool when Vision picked up the hammer and handed it to him like it was no big deal. I thought that was and everyone's like, holy shit, that guy just handed that to us like it was nothing. But so Thor was on his side after that. I'm like, okay, cool.
Well, that move itself was the one thing that solidified their trust.
Yeah.
You have to be worthy and you have to be noble to wield the hammer. And as all of the Avengers were trying to lift up that hammer, even though that, Captain America shifted it a little bit, Vision handled it like it was no big deal. Like, hey, you dropped something, here you go.
Right.
Like, okay, right there, boom. He's part of the club.
For sure. And that was great. And I love the fact and the part when Clint is telling Wanda, look, you need to decide right now, if you walk out that door, you're an Avenger. And that's pretty bad. Cool. When she just walked out and just started taking people out, I'm like, okay. And my wife's like, I hate her. She's not a good person. And wife's not a fan of Wanda, but I am, so it's okay. So let's move on.
She hates Wanda because you like Wanda so much.
I think so, but it's okay. And she knows.
I mean, or borderline obsession.
I mean, you might be onto something. I'm just saying.
She's just worried about your mental health.
I think the more that you see Natasha you'll start to come around.
Don't get me wrong. I will say this, and this one here, when she's, like she's talking to Hulk and stuff, I'm like, okay, Natasha, I see you right there too, kind of piquing my interest as well. So, yeah.
Sun's going down, big guy.
I don't know. It's sun's going down, and he just puts his hand out. I'm like, what? She can make the guy just do whatever. I'm like, by just touching him. So, okay. My argument with my wife was the fact that Nat has no like real powers. We were like arguing about that. I'm like, she doesn't do anything. She's just really good at martial arts, and she is good with a gun. She's like, oh my God, shut up. He said, what does the witch do? I said, look at her. And it was just.
Oh, you might get to see if she has some powers coming up in this movie.
Well, we'll have to wait and see till Black Widow comes out.
Yes. Speaking of that, let's dive into the movies lineup, because that was released on Tuesday. Well, we knew all the date. We knew some of the dates, but now we kind of know the dates for like the next 2 years for Marvel. Actually, it was 2 years to the day that they actually had stuff put out for. So first one come out in July 9th is Black Widow. Supposed to come out last year. Just what are your guys' thoughts on the Black Widow movie? What do you think we'll get out of it? Do you think it's going to connect to Falcon and Winter Soldier like everyone suspects?
So I have two lines of thoughts here. One is Marvel is banking a lot because this is their premiere movie, and I know it's supposed to be the end cap of kind of settling down and as they're starting up Phase 4 and stuff. And really kind of that kind of pre-warmer. This is really now the kickoff show for the next phase and stuff. Even though it's not, we're going to see some villains in this, or we're going to see some characters in this that it's going to explain. These characters are going to be reoccurring. And I already told you guys when we looked at Falcon and the Winter Soldier, when we got introduced to Madam Hydra or Valentina, she was actually, and this is not a spoiler alert or anything, but she is in Black Widow and stuff, and so she was supposed to be. This is supposed to be her cameo appearance. So we're going to see some characters from this movie in future iterations of Marvel and stuff. But it's going to be this is going to be a big deal because it got pushed back so much. I don't know, my expectations. My expectations were measured. They're like, okay, it's Black Widow. I get to see what happened in Budapest. We get to kind of get the origin stories. I love Black Widow. She's amazing. But now I'm like, I don't know. I'm still excited. I have mixed feelings about things right now with Black Widow coming out. So
okay.
Chris, at some point, did you say that you think Madam Hydra might also be like a mixture of like Victoria Hand? Did you say that?
Yeah, Val Cooper.
Oh, Val Cooper. Okay, Val Cooper. Okay, I couldn't remember who you said. Okay.
Yeah. The Black Widow, I'm more interested in the storyline of Yelena Belova, the sister. We get to see what happened in the Red Room, her training. And then I don't know if the casual fan understands how important the Taskmaster is, how powerful he is. So I think that's going to be the new supervillain that everyone's going to get the hype for.
Yep.
The new Thanos?
No.
Like the new level, same level though?
No, just
okay.
I'll actually mention him later on when we discuss how the Thunderbolts play into all of this.
Okay.
We can become
more
part of it.
like Doctor Doom level.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, that's my interpretation. I could be wrong, but
yeah, he's powerful.
Right.
And I think we're going to get to see more of what happened. David mentioned Budapest, and that was always the running joke in the MCU of what happened in Budapest. And she's a soldier. She's trained. She's an assassin. And I've said it on the show before. When she gets shot, she heals pretty quickly. And to heal that quickly, I feel that she has some super serum, a version of the super serum. So, but that's all I know, and I'm sticking to it.
All right. Sam, any thoughts on the Black Widow movie?
No, I'm excited. I agree. I want to know more about Budapest. And I definitely agree with Chris that she's got some kind of super soldier enhancement. I'm not going to say that she's taken the serum because I don't know that, but she has something that's similar to the serum for sure. The way that she manifests herself healing is crazy. And in my head, I was like trying to run back like the genetics and like, did they pull from her at any point, or did they pull from, I don't know, but I'd like to see that storyline, Chris.
So she did go through a lot of, and she even admitted she went through some medical experimentations and stuff, and they did everything they did to her. It was in the interest of making her a top level assassin.
Mm-hmm.
Her sterilization was made because for her to be a top level. So it makes sense, like Chris and Sam saying that they absolutely could have tested some version of a certain serum and stuff on her to get her to be a top level assassin in the Red Room. So yeah, and I think we're gonna get those. We're gonna get those answers. I think it's gonna be a movie that's gonna give us more answers than questions versus the other Marvel movies are slated to come out.
And I feel like that's what we need from a Black Widow is we need more answers than we do questions. We have enough questions already. Between the four of us sitting here right now, we could write 100,000 questions. But when it comes to Nat's story, I think we need more answers.
I mean, it's actually the first character that's no longer that we're getting a backstory on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm all about backstories. I want every backstory ever. But it's definitely going to be odd to be getting a backstory after she's gone. But I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say, you talk about the Red Room and the sterilization. I understand that now because I watched that movie last night. So I'm right there with you guys, and I understand.
Look at that.
Let's go. Let's go. All Marvel, right. What? Let's go. Next,
Marvel Trap.
That's right. Next movie is, then this has to do with, if you remember back in Iron Man 1, they talked about the 10 rings. The next movie coming out in September is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the 10 Rings. Shang-Chi, sorry. But see that? Thank you, Iron Man. Thoughts on Shang-Chi?
Well, I mean, like when he gets like abducted.
Yeah. Yep, they mention it. I'm listening, paying attention. I'm like, oh, that means something. And my wife's like, shut up, because I know everything you guys have said, and so now I just say that makes sense now. Okay, and it's just okay. Shang-Chi. Chris,
I'm proud of you.
What do you think about? I'm trying. Chris, what do you think about this one?
So I'm very excited for this one. One, this is a title, right? A comic book title that I collected as a child, and never in the wildest dreams would ever think this would be brought to mainstream movies. There's a storyline that I don't think they're going to follow directly from the books, but they're going to touch on it. We're going to see a character that has the second fastest hands in the universe. You like that, David, right? You notice I said second. But he's another, he's a martial art expert that was raised by his father. And to find out that, not a spoiler, but his father is not the greatest person in the world. And has people that work for him that are going to come after him. And it's just to build on top. I'm really happy that we're going to get to see San Francisco blended into this. And this opens up the West Coast for us to see, because, the Avengers have all been in New York. And now this is going to lead into greater storylines that are going to come out of that.
With White Vision. West Coast Avenger. You're welcome.
I think we're going to see a surprise in this movie that you can't project. This is going to be the movie that shocks and awes us again, the way we were getting it in the beginning of the MCU build.
So 10 rings, that's Mandarin, right?
Correct. In this movie, they're doing bracelets.
They're doing bracelets and calling it rings?
Well, so they're technically okay. So the dragon, it's the dragon ring, and so the story lore in the background. And I get why they're doing it, because we have the Thanos gauntlets, and it's and for a lot of new fans, they would kind of tend to think that this is just a remake of that, because the rings are designed to size itself to fit on whoever's the holder of the rings are. But what they're going to be doing to retcon this is that the dragon, which is a gigantic mythical creature and stuff, his hands would absolutely fit these bracelets would fit on those hands like rings. But for a human being, they will be bracelets, and so they're not. So that's it's a tweak from the comics and stuff, and I get it. I get why it makes sense. You don't want to see the reincarnation of the gauntlet and stuff when it comes to this storyline and stuff. So that's there's some mentioning about that, and it just makes sense. It just makes sense that they make him into the bracelets and the power bracelet.
Yeah, I get that connection with the Axon car. That's the dragon, right? Dragon race Axon car. But I guess I'm just wondering how they're going to show how each of the rings works. I mean, I guess, are they going to color code it?
Master Kung Fu issue 147, Spider-Man.
Okay, well, you lost me at Spider-Man.
He has a huge connection to the Master Kung Fu. But I digress.
How do you do that? Just pulled out the freaking thing just out of hole.
He's a nerd.
Is it is your comic books right over here? Just look over and go, oh, yeah, that one right there. That's what I feel like you just did.
No,
you can't do that with comic books.
No, you have to remember the story.
It's
amazing,
weird when you grow up on comic books and stuff, and I surprise myself every once in a while. Me and my friends, we could read the same comic books, and then over the years, I'll forget stuff that he remembers, and then he'll remember stuff that I just completely forgot about and stuff. But it's those things. Comic books leaves an impression on you, so when things come up, you get this trigger, and I know Chris gets a lot because I can watch when he talks, or I'll say something, and it's like, oh. Boom! It's right there. It's just something you just had to experience and stuff. It's like one of those. It's like reliving old TV shows that you loved as a kid and stuff, and you hear about them and they make them into movies and all that. It's like, oh wow, that's kind of cool. I remember that a little bit and stuff. So I don't profess to be an expert. I don't have comic books and sometimes I actually misremember a few things, so I have to go back and correct myself. But I love it. It's being a comic book fan and stuff. And
don't get me wrong, Chris. I think it's pretty cool. I'm like, how the hell did you do that? It's just comic book 147.
But it brings you back. But there's certain comic in the comic book world. There are certain numbers that are associated that were iconic issues. And Spider-Man 300, right? It's the first time you see the black suit. Wolverine versus the Hulk and 142. Those are just things that get embedded into your head. And then you start to think, I always thought that comic books came out every week growing up. You got to remember, that's once a month. It's once a month, every book comes out. So when you start to hear numbers of 300, there's a lot of months.
It's a lot of months. Are we good on Shang-Chi? Sam, did you have any thoughts on it?
No, I'm just really excited to see how they explain the power of the rings / bracelets, and I want to see because they cannot be explained on Earth really. Like on Earth, there's no definition for them. They've not been explained by the scientists on Earth. So I'm curious to see how they do it.
Cool. Next one coming out. This one I know a little bit about all these other ones. This one I know nothing about at all. The Eternals comes out on November 5th. Is this? It
is a comic line. So the Eternals are an alien race, and basically the Deviants are causing chaos on Earth, and the Eternals are supposed to come save Earth from the Deviants. Right?
You do know who there's a famous deviant that we all got introduced to. Nobody. So for those who don't know, Thanos is a deviant.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Eternals, they were created by the Celestials, And there's three species, I guess you would say. There's a third of these species were the Eternals. They were blessed with superpowers and made to kind of rule over and watch and protect Earth realm and other realms in the universe. Then there's the deviants, who were just these genetic mutation perverted versions of the Eternals and stuff, who also have powers, but they're warlike creatures like Thanos. Thanos is he's a Titan and stuff. And then there's humans. And this is where we kind of get latent mutant powers, because some of the humans were giving these kind of depressed genes inside of them, kind of known as like the X Factor or the X-Men.
X Factor?
The X-Men and stuff. Kind of, and in fact, there's a lot of lore, like where like when Bruce Banner got hit with gamma rays, instead of dying and stuff, it triggered his mutant gene and he turned into the Hulk. So we may be getting some explanation as to the mutants we may see, including the first mutant who
Namor.
Sam absolutely wants to see show their face and stuff. But
I already planned on bringing him up later when we talk about the Dark Avengers.
But
it's coming.
Oh, absolutely. But the Eternals, they're kind of, they bore the names of real gods and stuff, and they have similar power sets, and they have a weird history with us. They're not very, from my understanding, from some of the comic books we read, they're not very participatory, and they more of a galactic. They fight more galactic things and stuff like that, and they do intervene every once in a while in our history and stuff. But they really kind of let humans kind of do their own thing and stuff. So I'm curious on what parts they're going to pull from the originals, from the source material, and put onto the big train.
I did hear that they are already filming the sequel to Eternals before the first is even released.
I love that. Oh, I love that room.
Angelina Jolie is going to be in it. I think that's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
she's playing Cersei, right? Do you guys know?
I don't know, but so the Eternals is the complete opposite, Shawn. So this is
they're the opposite of the Deviants, basically.
Yeah, okay, but even for myself, because this isn't a storyline that I followed very closely, so I'm very excited for this. I can go into this in learning the characters for who they are by what they're telling me. I don't know details. I know some of the backstories, but not really details of it. Right. So it's going to be fresh. And so for you and I, we can be arm in arm on this one.
There we go.
We're going to learn it together. Okay.
I love it.
And Angelina Jolie is playing Thena.
Okay.
I think she's going to be great.
Oh, Kim.
She's great anyway. So yeah, that's going to be good. So next movie, Chris, you may know something about this. I mean, were we all good on Eternals? Were we all good?
Yeah.
Okay. Next movie, we got like 6 more of these. So Spider-Man No Way Home comes out December 17th, 2021. Chris, how excited are you to see your boy Spider-Man again?
I'm very excited to see Spider-Man. The rumors, I just want them to stop. I don't care, if there's 3 Spider-Man and all. I don't. I just want that to stop. I actually stayed away from all of that because I want to be able to enjoy the movie and pick it up from where it left off. And not even watch this movie going, okay, now we're going to get into Doctor Strange. No, appreciate this movie for what it is, and see this whole storyline. I think this is going to build the arc of this whole, Peter is a little mature in this one if you follow the age line, and I think
I might find him less irritating then.
There you go. Listen, I had to deal with, Spider-Man was not boys with Iron Man. He didn't get all this tech stuff from Iron Man. So that's a whole nother one. But whatever everyone's listening to about, you're going to see Daredevil's going to represent them because it's identity and all of that. If that's all going to happen, let it happen on the big screen and just enjoy it. Why
speculating?
Yeah, why speculate and take it away? So I'm and listen, there's going to be leaks and all of that. Like I said, during WandaVision, I sent it to you guys in the chat. I was like an idiot and I downloaded Reddit just to see what was going. No way.
And they go crazy. They go crazy on Reddit. Yes.
So I'm looking forward to Spider-Man.
David, how about you, bud?
Oh, I'm looking forward to Spider-Man. This is the only reason I'm looking forward to Spider-Man, because Sony and Marvel Studios mended their relationship in time for a script to come out after and a storyline to be developed. So they're working closely together, and when that happens, magic happens.
Magic.
So I'm excited. The questions that I'm looking forward to, and I'll wait for it to be answered. I don't need speculation stuff. Is how they're going to, because Sony does still have their properties and they're going to keep them because they're money makers, and so we have Morbius and we have Venom and stuff. Now I'm curious because the director said there's going to be some answerings to some of those questions and stuff on what this universe is going to look like, and so that's what I'm excited to see what that answer is. I don't care about the speculation, like Chris says. I'm just here for the roller coaster ride and to get that answered and stuff. How are they going to pull that off? Because I'm really excited for Morbius. I'm really excited for Venom too. So. And we, obviously we have Spider-Man, which is the bridge to both the MCU, and then what is Sony's version of what they're going to be doing, and we'll see how it all works out.
Excuse me. I mean, as much as I said about Masters of Kung Fu and Shang-Chi coming to the main screen, Carnage, never in the wildest dreams would I ever think that's going to happen, and we're getting it.
Yep.
So.
Sam, I know you're excited for Spider-Man.
I actually am. I am. Yeah. Not actually for Spider-Man, but for the No Way Home movie.
Yes.
I agree with David. I want to see. I want to see what their partnership does together. We need Venom because he's gonna play a bigger role in the rest of the MCU coming out. So I want to see the way that they pull that in. There's a lot of questions that can be answered, like David said. Okay. And I have hope that Peter Parker's not an annoying little twerp this time, but if he is, I'll get over it.
There you go.
Sorry, guys.
So, can I add one rumor just for Sam? So I heard through the rumor mill, maybe I made this up just now, that they might kill off Tom Holland as Spider-Man and offer him the role as Namor. It's just a rumor I might have made up just now, or I heard. So
that's
Sam,
not okay. No,
it's not okay. All right.
No.
I refuse to. I'm done.
Absolutely not.
All right. Next movie coming out March 25th, 2022. Should have came out this year as well, I believe, but due to the pandemic, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
God, I'm so excited.
Initials is MOM for Mother's Day, so just so you guys know.
Oh, okay.
Doctor Strange and the mom.
Doctor Strange and the mom.
Strange and the mom. Yeah.
She's not really a mom.
Well, hey, wait a sec. Wanda's a fake mom. That's true.
Yeah, we already had that discussion. Sam, you weren't here for that.
Sorry, I was enjoying my Mother's Day.
Yeah, we already learned she's not a fake mom. She's a fake mom. I get it. Renee Russo. Yes.
Shawn's a little sore about that. So.
Yeah. You made your point. I agree, though. I understand, but she's still hot.
Doctor Strange is going to be. It's going to force you to go back and watch a couple of episodes of WandaVision. Mm-hmm. It's going to make sure that you have a connection of what happened with Spider-Man. It's a tie-in, even Endgame, and see what So that's the great part. It's also going to be not just witches and warlocks and all of that fun stuff. It's dealing with Doctor Strange now. Think about what he just did. What is the last thing that he did? And he basically saved everybody.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Tony snapped his fingers, but it was all of his plan. Correct. And I think we're going to start to see him dealing with that. And and I'm looking forward to them driving that. Again, why I love the MCU, they're taking characters that were not predominant, their core characters and building story arcs around them to make them a core character.
For sure.
But so I'm looking forward to that movie.
It's going to be.
I can't wait that long.
I know that's 10 months. And from anything I've read about this movie, and it's going to be basically equivalent to a horror movie from Marvel. It's going to be it's going to be that dark, and so I think it's going to be a stretch for them. It's going to be a thing to take them into the future, obviously, as well, with the way that they're going to present the movie, because there is obviously a lot of darkness in Marvel. So, and I think they're going to finally tap into that now and maybe expose some of that and open the door for more. If that makes sense.
So, no, it does make sense. In fact, I believe that they're going to actually lay a little bit of the groundwork for the reintroduction of Blade. So, and there's a character I'm hoping that we'll get to see. I want to do a little bit more before, as we get closer to it, before I reveal. But I think there's going to be a nice little tie-in to the reintroduction of the Blade character.
Okay. Cool.
Great. Now we have to wait to find out.
So we're good on that.
We got a year.
We got, and we're good on that movie. I mean, that's obviously the WandaVision was basically set up as a precursor to that, because it was supposed to come out right before it. We learned this week also that the commercials in WandaVision were actually supposed to be messages from Doctor Strange. So Doctor Strange was supposed to be in the movie, but then they opted to not put it in for whatever reason.
So is he trying to get her on depression meds?
He's trying to help her out. Say, hey, calm down, girl. I'm here for you, boo. Let's team up.
I don't think he was calling her boo, but okay.
He might have been. Why not?
He was probably this bitch crazy.
For those who don't know what happened and stuff, and Kevin Feige was explaining this, when Wanda first started, when her chaos magic started, when she was at that lot, that's her house, that became her house and stuff. His signals, and he even says that his job is to protect the Earth realms, and with magic from dark magic and everything else. So he knew immediately that something was going on and stuff, and he tried to get into the hex, but he couldn't. Oh, the commercials was the only way he could try to reach Wanda and stuff, and try to kind of coax her into this reality state and stuff. And then they said he was supposed to be a part of a big reveal at the end, and he's supposed to be training her, and they had to redo all of that and stuff, not only because of the pandemic, but Marvel Studios looked at that and it's like, we don't want this to be the introduction to. We really want this to be about Wanda. We don't want this to be about Doctor Strange. And so having all these things built up would make this about Doctor Strange coming in at the end of the day and stuff, and overshadow Wanda and what's Wanda going through. So I think they make the right call. We talked about this a little bit on the Walt's apartment and stuff, but yeah, I just have to reiterate that sentiment. So I think they made the right call by just cutting his parts and stuff. So
yeah,
I agree, but I have a question. Why? I mean, Agatha had the same trace that Doctor Strange did, right? She sensed the magic and she came. How'd she get in, but he couldn't?
I don't know how they answered that. I couldn't tell you. So hopefully they explain that somehow.
Script supervisor.
But you know what?
Sometimes it's the writing.
Technically, maybe Wanda has more to learn from Agatha than she does Doctor Strange.
That's so possible.
Do you think Agatha will be in this movie?
No.
I don't think so, but I hope so. I will. No. I want to see her more in the MCU.
I think we'll get her more in the MCU. I don't think it'll be in Doctor Strange.
Do you think that this is going to be a battle between Wanda and Doctor Strange? Like everyone is saying that she's going to be the villain basically, and he's going to have to stop her. And maybe Agatha comes in to help her, and I don't know, to help her turn her around. I don't know. I read way too much stuff. So
I don't think they're going to make her the big bad. I think they spend a lot of capital on just kind of showing the struggles and stuff that she went through and everything, and they don't typically do that when they make characters out to be villains and stuff like they do and stuff. I mean, the closest they may do is like a Loki type deal, like where she's realizing the type of power she has and everything else and stuff. And she may even be mentally fractured or have a break, but I don't think they're setting up to be like this Thanos like villain. We have too much emotional built into her.
Right.
I forgot you would say call that, but yeah.
Yeah, no, we're too invested in her as a character.
That's the word I was looking for.
I do not think she's going to be stable. I don't think that we're going to see them fighting side by side. Maybe in the end, she comes has like a Hail Mary moment, but I don't think she's going to be.
Follow the book. No, honestly, I think it opens up a little bit to the MCU starting to showcase villains.
Yeah,
villains have amazing arcs and backstories, and
just like they do it in Disney in general.
Sure,
yeah, for sure,
and,
like
that's true.
Maleficent.
Yep,
and I think that's what I just the feeling that they have. Okay, we ran with the Avengers for so long, doing the good. Now let's show the bad, and then it could be another phase of now putting them against each other. So.
I mean, Valentina could be the Nick Fury for the baddies and stuff, and building those teams, and we get to see those backstories. And stuff.
Yeah. So here's what I want to do. We talked about those movies right there. We have 5 more of these. Let's talk about them next week that are coming out, and let's get in. I think it's a good time because you just talked about villains, and we're going to go into Valentina and talk about was it the Thunderbolts and the Dark Avengers, correct?
Yeah.
Sure. Yep.
Okay. So Chris, Sam, floor is yours. David, kick in where you can. I know nothing about this. I'm just here to learn at this point. So let's go.
Sure. So Sam, do you want to go first? So I have the Thunderbolts origin and then how it leads up into some of the characters that we have that we've seen now.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead? Because technically Dark Avengers came after Thunderbolts.
Yep. So
they were a mutation of it.
Yeah. So the Thunderbolts originally were planned to be the next evolution of a team of villains. There's many characters that are in the Thunderbolts, but the one super villain was Baron Zemo, and the basis of this story was actually developed. Kurt Busiek, I believe is the way you pronounce it. But on a simple drive just from New Jersey to New England, he took all the pre-existing Avengers and he wanted to know if what would happen if they were bad. And they first appeared in, I think it was 96, 97 in The Incredible Hulk. And the first team was, the Hulk gets attacked and Songbird in the middle of the desert. And Janice Jones, and I'm going to be naming characters that aren't so popular, and we could get into that later. But Janice Jones gets hit by Mach 1, and they're trying to save her, but they turn her into a prisoner. But it doesn't reveal until that they're the Thunderbolts until this master evil plan was that the superheroes actually get abolished. And the Avengers and the Fantastic Four were believed to be wiped out by Onslaught, who I someday wish we get to see. But Onslaught wipes out the Avengers and the Fantastic Four. And from that, Baron Zemo starts taking characters or villains and renaming them. There's a long list, but you have people from Citizen B became the Beetle and Mach 1 and the Fixer, Goliath, and those are all older characters. But what happens is that as these characters are in this dimension, they find out that the Avengers were actually still around. The way that the Thunderbolts, that we're starting to learn about the Thunderbolts, are completely different, but based off of the Baron Zemo theory. And I've mentioned this once before, and I'm excited to mention the people that we've seen or are about to see that could become part of the Thunderbolts. And Sam, myself, we've all agreed that I think it might become a blend of the Thunderbolts and the Dark Avengers. Mm-hmm. The Dark Avengers. The Thunderbolts eventually, they escape into another dimension. But who we know of now is we've seen Zemo. Thunderbolt Ross becomes the Red Hulk. Elena Belova, who is the sister of Black Widow. Taskmaster, U.S. Agent, Val, and the Abomination are just a few of those villains that somehow are all getting tied up in the raft.
Damn.
And that will lead into my theory when I said Sharon Carter was on the phone with Norman Osborn, not as the Green Goblin, but as the Oscorp. And from that, this Thunderbolt Avenger team will become the Dark Avengers.
The Dark Avengers.
With that, I pass it to Sam.
So, in the comics, Norman Osborn, there's no more S.H.I.E.L.D., there's no more Hydra. It's Hammer. And technically, Hammer's name is not ever revealed. What it stands for is never revealed. He tells Victoria Hand to figure that out, and she doesn't. It's never
not Justin
presented.
Hammer, is it?
No. Hammer is the name of the new organization, and basically Norman Osborn's in charge of everything. And so the Thunderbolts are kind of like his special ops team, and shit kind of gets crazy, and he ends up having to kind of pull in the Avengers, his own form of the Avengers, like Chris was saying. And he's got, hang on, I pulled a list. So he gets Bullseye, Moonstone, and Venom because he was not able to get Miss Marvel. So he's got Moonstone. He's got Venom because of Spider-Man. I can't remember who Bullseye was supposed to be for. Does anybody remember? He couldn't get somebody, so he had Bullseye instead. Oh, Hawkeye. It was Hawkeye. And then Ares and Sentry were part of the Thunderbolts, and they came over to the Dark Avengers as well. So basically, they are building this team. They're building this team of Avengers. Like Chris was saying, they're just because they are in the other. This is when they're in the new dimension, right, Chris?
Yes, they're in the new dimension, and they also feel that Norman Osborn is turning on them.
Mm-hmm. So in Utopia, they end up with the X-Men. Basically, they have Namor, who is working with Osborn, and Emma Frost. They both end up turning on him. And then the X-Men end up getting, but they try to take over the X-Men. Damn. And Namor and Emma Frost basically turn on him, and the X-Men are left to their own devices. But we do get to see Daken, who is Wolverine's son, and Novar is like Captain Marvel. He's a Kree. And then, or she's a Kree. Can't remember. Is she a girl or a guy?
Yeah, Novar. Boy. It's Marvel Boy.
Boy.
Gotcha. And then Norman Osborn puts on his Iron Patriot, and he is supposed to be like the Captain America of the team.
Where he got all that tech from.
I don't know.
And that's what, Shawn, I don't know if you know, so Oscorp.
No, I don't know.
So Oscorp, but they take over the Avengers campus, the Avengers headquarters.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that Tony Stark building becomes Oscorp.
Mm-hmm.
So think about what you find when you take over a building.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he has access to all of Stark's technology and everything else and stuff. And the Iron Patriot, which was donned by Rhodey, is now going to be donned by by Osborn, and he's going to be a leader of the Dark Avengers and stuff, wearing the Iron Patriot. So,
are you saying the same Norman Osborn that died in Spider-Man, the same one? Is that who we're talking about, or someone else?
He died in Sonyville.
Okay.
That's not canon.
It's not Marvel.
No, yeah, that's not
okay.
canon.
Fair
It's
enough.
not
Fair
Marvel.
enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, damn.
But yes, that's the one.
Okay.
We could get a blending of both. Absolutely. In fact, it makes sense to do that. It doesn't, for me. I think it's a little much to create the two separate groups and then have them interchange and then have them all. It makes sense just to have it all under, which they do all the time. With the sourcing, the fact that they have access to all of the X-Men is, yeah. I think we're gonna get opportunity that they're gonna just blend it all into one. We're gonna have the Dark Thunderbolts or something. So
yeah.
So my thought, Victoria Hand. Could Sharon be playing Victoria Hand's role? Like she's supposed to, like she was like basically their infiltrate of the government.
The storyline of Victoria Hand
Yeah.
for Sharon. I really think Sharon is our lead into one. She's a Skrull. And then it goes into Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
It leads into that. I'm wondering if you know a little bit, and I know we said we'll talk about it next week, but they changed the title to now Mrs. Marvels.
To the
plural.
Marvels. The Marvels.
Yeah, or the Marvels. Okay, so, everyone's focusing on Monica Rambeau, right? And who's the little girl?
Kamala Khan.
Yes.
Kamala Khan, yeah.
Right. Everyone's focusing on that. I'm wondering if we're going to get the story of where Captain Marvel loses her powers, because that could be a good storyline of her losing the powers so that they can move on. But then that leads into more Skrulls and Secret Invasion style.
I mean, I think that the MCU is ready for Skrulls. I think we are. Like, we saw it already in WandaVision. We were excited by it in WandaVision.
Right.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't going to mention that, but
well, Nick Fury is a Skrull on Earth right now.
What?
Yeah, he's on vacation on Sword up in and his counterpart is a Skrull. Yeah, it's a Skrull on Earth. So
okay,
I forgot, Shawn. You're not caught. You'll get there though.
I think I've seen something like that, but I've seen him up in space, but I can't put all this crap together sometimes. So,
but I think,
I think the thing is with Skrulls is like so many people, like when you think of Skrulls, you have this huge negative connotation. Like, not all Skrulls are bad. Like,
right.
I mean, to an extent, like, again.
For those of you that aren't watching, when we record these, we can see each other, and Sam says something, and Chris shakes his head, and it's funny. So, hopefully down the road there'll be a way for you to see all of our recordings. We're working on that, by the way. But yeah, it's.
What
do you think, David?
Marvel did kind of took some liberties with the source materials for the Skrull and stuff, but I think they're going to. I think with the Eternals and how that movie is going to roll out and how we have the deviants, it's going to show that there's going to be deviants versions of the Skrulls versus the other versions of the Skrulls that we have came to see, such as when we got introduced in Captain Marvel and stuff like that. When they took some liberties about the Skrulls, and then the Kree all of a sudden is like the bad guys and stuff. So it's interesting, but I think they're gonna. There's a method to their madness and stuff, and I think they're gonna kind of show kind of how human beings are. We have good and we have bad, and so I think that's how they're gonna play the Skrulls and stuff. And there's the bad version versus the good, and you have to figure out, and maybe they figure out how to introduce the distinction so we know as the audience. I'm curious how they're going to do that, though.
Yeah.
Talos.
For sure.
Is Talos good or bad? What do you think?
Oh, you want me to tell you?
Yeah, go ahead.
He's bad.
Yeah.
He's been fooling people. He's bad. I mean, come on. He does what he needs to do to get his family and stuff, and so that means he has to befriend an enemy to accomplish that. Why? Especially an enemy that he knows is a lower IQ intelligence. It's like befriending a cow to get, it just is. The Skrulls are an incredibly highly intelligent race. So to play mind games with human beings is no big deal for them, even though we would take them as enduring and nice and everything else, as their friendship and stuff. It was just really to accomplish a particular task. And at that point in time, having Captain Marvel on your side versus your enemy was a great benefit. So that's my take. Alice is bad. So
yeah,
he creeps me out.
Yes, he is strong with the creepy vibe.
Yeah. So do we have more on that?
I mean, I think Secret Invasion is something in the back. I know it's far away, and I'm going to appreciate every ounce of everything we get up until then.
Right.
But I'm going to fanboy over that show.
Yeah.
That's going to be even though it's going to be on Disney Plus, and right, that's not going to be a movie, correct?
Disney Plus.
It's a show.
So you have to lower the expectation of.
But do you really though? I mean, look at these last two shows, but you really don't have to that much.
Just for major reveals.
Okay, fair enough.
So lower the expectation for that. But again, I've said it for a couple episodes that are coming out. I never thought my childhood would be put on a screen of these stories that I've read and I won't say lived by, but they represented why I continued to read these stories. So
no, I get it.
So basically Norman I think the way I remember it, I could tell me if I'm wrong. Basically Norman Osborn came into the power he was in after the Secret Invasion, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end, yep. No, you're right.
When everything was blamed on Tony Stark.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I think they're moving that because of Tony being gone. Somebody said, what would we see why would we see, will we see Tony Stark in Black Widow?
Good. I mean,
maybe.
We can see it older. Yeah, we can see a
because it's right. It's before she's dead. It's before she's an Avenger.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't know.
We could.
Did she get tech from him?
She didn't really know him though before.
That's what I'm saying. Did she get tech from him?
Not so much.
She doesn't really have tech.
No. Well, she gets more and more tech. She gets more and more tech in the movies I've been watching.
But not in the beginning. But like.
But it could have been more of when Tony was just blowing up stuff, trying to sell to the military, and happens to cross paths with something with Russia.
But he didn't meet her until Iron Man 2, correct?
In that movie.
Right. All right. I'm trying to.
There's backstories and stuff that didn't play out on the film, but he could be. I mean, I don't think they would go that route.
I don't think it's necessary. I think it's done.
There's no open loops between those two relationship that needs to be explained in Black Widow. So I don't, unless it's opening up something else like with Taskmaster, or I don't really see us seeing Stark in there.
Okay,
I agree. I don't think it's a necessary.
That'd be cool.
Like no, I would like that's the thing is I don't want them to just do it because people would think it's cool.
Right.
I want it to be meaningful, and I don't think it would be meaningful.
I'll tell you how I do want to see Stark. I know he's dead, but we do have AI Stark. He is his own replacement for Jarvis, so that'd be kind of cool to see him help out in Armor Wars.
Wait, really?
Him versus White Vision.
Yep.
We get AI Stark. That would be interesting. The robotic version of the Stark child. So
yeah.
Oh man, that'd be cool. He's my third favorite character. So. Yeah, that'd be great. I love him.
Who knows? There's so much. I mean, when I tell you there's so much source material, it's unbelievable all the storylines that they can go with and stuff. But they gave us some hints. If you look at all of the titles that are going to be coming out in the Disney Plus series and stuff, we kind of tend to know which way. That's why I think it's pretty safe to say we're going to get some combination of Dark Avengers and Thunderbolts going forward. We're going to get, the young Avengers and stuff going forward. Just the kind of the way things are kind of peppered with the titles and what's coming forward and stuff. It's not hard to, venture out to say this is what we're probably going to end up seeing. We just don't know how it's going to. So.
Like we're gonna like I'm damn near certain we're getting Norman Osborn.
Mm-hmm.
Like damn near certain, which I mean makes me excited because he's a direct link to X-Men. Like he follows that path directly to the X-Men for me. And I mean I want to see Namor betray him.
It always goes back to him. I swear. I said, okay, so I want to share with everyone that's listening. The other day, Sam mentioned something about Namor, and I wouldn't say lashed out, but I just put it out there that I do hope I see Namor in Wakanda Forever, and T'Challa punches him and knocks him out, and he's done, and he lasts as long as Battlestar did. Oh. We got Jermaine Namor. We got nothing to talk about anymore.
Ouch.
Man.
Happy Mother's Day, Sam.
I hate you.
Oh, man.
I hate you.
It's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Oh, boy. Well, on that note, since there's hate now to end the podcast, can you two make up before we end here, or no?
You're okay.
Yeah, there you go. That'll work. David, anyone else have anything to add to Thunderbolt Dark Avenger topic?
No, I think
we're good.
I think this is the route they're going to go, and I'm excited to see and talk about this more as the year progresses.
For sure. So, David, where can we find you on all of your social medias?
All right, pretty much anywhere. I can list them all, but it's just too many right now. So
let's look up Blurred Hulk.
Yep, look up Blurred Hulk and stuff.
Chris, how about you, buddy?
Oh, you can find me on Sunday nights at the Marvel Tribe. Yes. And recently, it's thanks to the Blurred Hulk, Mr. David. Follow me on Clubhouse. I've been in some very interesting rooms.
He's a rock star.
No, Chris is the man on Clubhouse. Let me tell you, man, it's pretty damn cool. I ruined a room that Chris was in at 3 a.m. the other day.
Did you really?
Talking about Namor.
There's a peek behind the curtain, folks. But so take a look. It's now available as of today for Android users. So jump on and
it's invite only.
There's some fun rooms on there. You get to hear other people's perspectives of Marvel and Disney and all the fun stuff. I've been in some crazy nerd rooms. I learned more about Dune on Clubhouse than I ever wanted to know about, but it was very, very interesting. And
I will say this about it. The other night, I'm just sitting here at home, we're watching TV, and I look down and it says Chris Alardi is on some room, and it says Dane Cook is on there, right? So I pop in for a second. Dane Cook, the actor, is just talking to Chris like he's his best friend. They're just going back and forth, just having a conversation. It was the coolest thing. So yeah, it's and you can follow anyone. I follow Dane Cook now. I follow MC Hammer because I just love him. So but I haven't been in one of his rooms yet because I don't understand it yet. But it is fun. It's to get on there and just listen to people talk about stuff because you get so many different aspects of everything out there. So yeah, check it out if you guys don't have a Clubhouse. If you need some invites, maybe message us. We might have some. I have some that I don't know to get into. So
I have a few. Yeah, I have a few.
Sam, where can we find you?
Everywhere. Samantha Mlodecki, our Disology podcast.
Yes. And what's the topic for Disology this week? Oh, it's your author, right?
We just did an interview last night with Estelle Lohr, who did the Hyperion Disney Publishing book, City of Villains. Was a good book.
And that comes out Tuesday, right?
It does. It comes out Tuesday, yes.
Cool. Nice. Well, that's our show this week for the Marvel Tribe. We want to thank you all so much for joining us. And until next week, we'll see you later, I guess. I don't know what to say. We need some cool send-off.
See you real soon.
Can you play that little boom,
Excalibur.
Boom,
boom. Excelsior.
Excelsior. I said Excalibur.
Excelsior. Excalibur. Oh, wow. Dan,
okay.
you didn't mean it.
Good night, all.